Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're completely reframing what it actually means to be the quietest person in a very loud room. We are throwing open the secret playbook of high-functioning minds to uncover exactly why the most powerful presence in the room is almost never the one making the most noise.
Think back to your last high-pressure meeting, or even just a really busy social gathering. Have you ever noticed that the person who undeniably knows the most is usually the one saying the absolute least? While everyone else is awkwardly scrambling to fill the silence, terrified of even a second of dead air, that quiet person in the corner is doing something much more dangerous and much more calculated. They're gathering data. Because as psychology shows us, for these experts, silence isn't just an empty space. It's definitely not a void waiting to be filled with pointless chatter. Instead, think of it as a high-powered cognitive engine. It's a processing center operating at absolute maximum capacity. So when they're quiet, they are actually working.
All right, Section 1, the power of silence.
This all boils down to a pretty profound yet simple rule of human intelligence. When you're talking, you're only giving information out. You're basically revealing your hand. But when you are listening, you're bringing critical information in. High-functioning minds relentlessly prioritize input over output. In a complex environment, that is exactly how you win.
Moving right along to Section 2, input over output.
So, what are they actually doing while everyone else is talking and giving away their own leverage? Well, they aren't just politely waiting for their turn to speak. They're actively watching behavior patterns. They're critically analyzing tones of voice and closely observing those tiny, immediate micro-reactions from everyone else. They are noticing vital patterns, hidden right in plain sight, patterns that are completely invisible to the folks who are just too busy talking.
Which brings us to Section 3, the logic gap.
Let's look at the internal mechanics of how this works. This is their secret weapon, cognitive inhibition. It's a relatively rare cognitive ability that creates a deliberate mental gap between experiencing a raw emotion and actually taking an action based on it. It's a pause. And that pause allows these individuals to mentally zoom out and rigorously evaluate consequences before they ever even open their mouths.
Let's be honest, most of us operate strictly in survival mode. We react first and we try to figure it out later. But this calculated pause forcefully yanks their brain out of that reactive state and shifts it directly into a higher reasoning mode. Even if it's literally just for a couple of seconds, they are no longer slaves to their emotional impulses.
Section 4, building the world picture.
So how do they use that reasoning mode? Through something called context building. Before they take a single action or speak a single word, their brain is busy running these incredibly complex simulations of the room. They are modeling the entire environment in advance, so they know exactly what board they're playing on.
And here's a step-by-step of how they build that context. First, they don't just see isolated facts. They take separate, seemingly random signals and connect them into one clear pattern. Second, they link the timing of events directly to people's behavior. Third, they map that behavior to potential risks. And finally, because they do all this, they can actually anticipate major shifts in the room way before those shifts become obvious to anybody else. Because they spend so much time deep in this processing cycle, their eventual response isn't just remarkably fast, it is highly informed and incredibly precise.
Section 5, replacing ego with accuracy.
Having this highly structured worldview radically changes how these individuals communicate and self-correct. Notice how they totally avoid dramatic language. Saying things like, "This is a disaster," literally spikes cortisol, increases stress, and completely blocks the reasoning centers of the brain. Instead, they strictly stick to neutral language. Neutral language keeps the mind calm and keeps it actively engaged in problem-solving mode.
Armed with this kind of cognitive flexibility, they possess the ultimate superpower, self-doubt. They don't waste an ounce of energy defending a fragile ego. Instead, they constantly ask themselves this one powerful question. Wait, what if I'm wrong? And the very moment new evidence appears, they adjust their thinking without a second of hesitation.
And this right here, this is the absolute hallmark of a truly sharp mind. They fundamentally replace their ego with a relentless drive for accuracy. They would way rather be right in the end than just look right in the moment. When you stack a loud ego up against quiet discipline, the difference is night and day. High-functioning minds never sit around waiting to feel motivated, and they certainly aren't posting about their daily grind on social media just to get some external validation. Their habits run on pure automaticity. Why? because psychology tells us that talking too much about your goals actually tricks your brain into feeling like you've already achieved them. So they execute their systems with pure consistency, and they just let their results do the talking for them later.
All right, Section 6, the 3-second challenge. Now it's time to take this secret playbook and apply it directly to your own life. I want you to really internalize this idea. Real intelligence isn't loud, it's controlled. True intelligence is that distinct, highly refined ability to stay entirely composed under immense pressure, and to respond wisely rather than just reacting quickly. So here's my direct challenge to you for your next meeting, your next negotiation, or hey, even your next family dinner. Practice being the absolute quietest person in the room by using a deliberate 3-second pause before you speak. Just count 1, 2, 3 in your head before responding to absolutely anything.
I want you to literally stop trying to fill the silence. Observe the hidden patterns around you. See how much more you truly understand about the people you're dealing with when you're just taking it all in. And honestly, hold off on subscribing to this channel until you actually go out, try this, and experience this profound paradigm shift for yourself, instead of just seeking a quick informational dopamine hit from this explainer. I really hope this explainer fundamentally flips how you view silence and leaves you asking how you can build better context in your own high-pressure situations. As you step back out into the noise of the world today, ask yourself, will you stay dangerous by remembering that the most powerful mind is never in a rush to prove it? Thanks so much for watching, and keep learning.